this point, it has been 2 years that we have been long distance. Well, not a full 2 years, but almost 2 years.
My entire feed is just the girl who's quitting everything and moving to Afghanistan.
In case you don't already know, the video you just watched is not AI generated or a random rage bait aimed at generating clicks. Nope, not in the slightest. Those are the genuine intentions of a lady whose life goals are to move to one of the most dangerous places in the world, all in the name of love. Can you even believe that? Well, believe it or not, it's true all the same, and to make it more dumbfounding, that's not even the entirety of it all. Now meet TikTok's Alex Sunny, a creator who's leaving more and more people questioning her sanity based on the types of reckless decisions she makes. Oh, and if you aren't already familiar, grab your popcorn and get ready to have your mind blown to shreds by what people are calling the stupidest decision maker ever. And rightly so, too. I mean, we're talking about a lady who not only fell in love with someone she barely knows, but went ahead to marry said person and their one and only real life meeting in 2 long years, all while documenting it like it's your favorite adventure channel.
I'm moving to Afghanistan, and this is part 2 of all of the things I got as gifts from my husband's family. This is all for the kids. So first off, I got this like coloring book. I thought it was really cute for the girls. It has stickers.
But just while people were trying to figure out what the fundamental of her problem was, boom, she dropped the real bombshell. She's gonna be moving to Afghanistan. Yeah, you heard that right. She's relocating to Afghanistan to live with her so-called husband. And that reaction you just gave, that's bang on the right reaction too, because what the actual hell? Now, you might be thinking, is this really true love? What really could have prompted this decision? And more importantly, why aren't people trying to stop her from ruining her damn life? Well, this is the quite complicated reality of Alex Sunny, the TikTok girly trading her freedom for love, and you best believe it's about to get real interesting.
I'm an American moving to Afghanistan, and these are all the gifts that I got from my husband's family. I got 2 bottles of this face wash, specifically the Acne Control Cleanser, because whenever I met my husband in Pakistan, I had a bottle of this and he absolutely loved it, so he took it home. And his aunt also loved it.
Now, you know how young people can often get carried away by love and end up making reckless, impulsive decisions like moving to a new city or adopting a pet together too soon? Well, I give you a certain 26-year-old TikToker who has decided to make all that pale in comparison by personally raising the bar. She quite literally already split the internet with the live updates from her strange relationship before completely setting it all on fire with that announcement in June of 2026.
Already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful.
Even her bio now reads, "Follow my journey to Afghanistan to live with my husband." Since then, Sunny has been the subject of heated discussions on various platforms, while others just look forward to the proposed immigration date, which she has also revealed, by the way. But to best understand why the internet can't stop talking about this TikToker here, let's take a step back to find out who Alex Sunny is. Well, like many other content creators who pop out of nowhere, there isn't really much info about Sunny before TikTok except for what she's chosen to share in her videos, but based on that alone, we can gather that she's a 26-year-old TikToker based in the United States. She's also half American, thanks her mom, who hails from Kentucky, and then half Jordanese on account of her dad being from there. Alex is also a truck driver, and most of her earlier content before meeting her husband focused on day-in-the-life styled clips from her long-haul trucking experience, a few get ready with me videos, and other general lifestyle posts. Oh, and with over 160,000 followers on TikTok alone, there's no denying just how popular our girl is or has come to be. I mean, the fact alone that she's a woman in a male-dominated sector already made her unique, but credits to her for also being so eloquent because, well, you just can't deny the fact that she's pretty and communicates really good.
So as for my day-to-day life, I plan on taking like little day trips with my husband, seeing the nature and the landscape of Afghanistan. His aunt goes to the gym, and I really like going to the gym. I just don't have like a whole lot of time with my job.
However, there's also no denying that she only became really famous after getting into that very surprising relationship that people just couldn't help but follow.
I get asked this question all the time, so I figured I would reply with a video. So we actually met on Snapchat in July of 2024, and we didn't meet IRL until December of 2024. So at first I wasn't actually looking for a relationship, but we exchanged WhatsApp numbers.
There's something quite peculiar about Sunny's relationship. Well, there's actually a number of things if we're being honest. However, the one that first broke the internet is how she met her man. See, Alex had explained in one of her videos that she actually met her man on Snapchat back in July of 2024, and they probably started vibing immediately because it's about the same period she started talking about him in her videos.
Lost their lives through this immigration process and the travel ban. Nonetheless, we still lost thousands of dollars. The forms, just in the forms alone, we probably invested about
But here's where things actually get interesting, because she wasn't just talking to a random man from another state in the US. Nope, bro was all the way from Afghanistan, and he actually also lives there. No shades here, because love is blind and knows no boundaries and all that, but if you have to go all the way to a Taliban-run country to find love, then there's got to be something wrong somewhere, right? Well, the plot just thickens, because according to her, she actually wasn't looking for love at the time, but one thing led to the other. They exchanged WhatsApp numbers, and it's been quite the journey ever since. She also added the fact that she's a truck driver, and that allows her a luxury of being able to yap for long periods of time, and they would often talk for hours upon hours. We're talking 12 to 15 hours daily, which in itself is quite alarming because, girl, what?
But we exchanged WhatsApp numbers anyways. I'm a truck driver, so of course I could yap all day long, and he was just really somebody that was easy to talk to. When I say talk, I mean we talked for 12 to 15 hours a day, like probably even more than that.
Of course, the two would eventually get to meet in real life, but probably because of the distance and most definitely because of the visa barrier, they had to wait till December of 2024 and also had to meet in Pakistan, where they spent 12 days together. Here are some pictures they took to commemorate their time together.
Oh, my love, my life, my soul, the missing piece that made me whole. Every touch, every smile you bring makes my whole world sing. Through every storm, through every fear, I'll keep wanting you near. No matter where this life may lead, you are my love, my life. I used to fear what love could do, afraid forever wouldn't stay true. But you stayed through every scar and love me just the way I am. Even silence feels alive whenever you are by my side. And every moment that we share feels like pieces everywhere. No more.
But while this was supposed to be a good thing that she's finally getting to meet with her said lover after months of yapping nonstop, she'd pull yet another impulsive decision-making move and get married to him. Yes, you absolutely heard that right. She'd go ahead to marry someone she'd only been talking to for months, and even worse, just meeting for the first time. Like, could you imagine that more thought and planning would go into ordinarily deciding what to buy during your next grocery shop, or even what to wear on work on Monday, that she did on that one? And this is a huge life-changing decision we're talking about. Now, surely there's gonna be a part of you that feels the man's got something to do with this somehow, maybe by manipulating her or influencing her decision one way or the other. Some are even calling it an elaborate scheme to obtain a green card, and that the man knows what he's doing all along. But come to think about it, while there could be a chance that all of those are true and that Sunny might be a victim here, there's also no neglecting the more likely fact that she's just reckless and impulsive with her decision making. Regardless, the fact that she might have more to lose from this rushed marriage should at least make her rethink things and not rush to Pakistan to say "I do" to someone she barely knows, right? Besides, it's also needless to say that she probably has friends and family advising her and trying to get her to reconsider, but apparently there's just no advising people like this once they have their mind set on a decision, because what followed completely took everybody by surprise. Folks, we've already seen questionable decisions from Sunny. We've also seen flat out foolish ones, but then this is one of those decisions that makes a mockery of common sense itself. Girl, how do you end up and decide on something like this and still shamelessly flaunt it for all to see? Like, how does that even make sense? And how did she even come to take that as a possibility? Well, you see, after meeting with her man and stealing the deal back in Pakistan in 2024, Sunny returned to the US to her job and to her friends, and if she damn well had any, but somehow she really couldn't stop talking about her man. She talks about how she loved him to bits.
So people seem to think that I reverted to Islam because of my husband, but that's just simply not true. I was actually a born Muslim, but then when I came back to America, I was raised by my family and here in America, and they're Christians. So naturally, I just grew up Christian. I didn't really go to church.
She talks about how she misses him. She talks about how he's a jewelry dealer and how she's sure he misses her too.
Get ready with me while I tell you why my husband failed his immigration interview. We started this process about a year ago. It was January 20th to be exact when we filed our first paperwork. Honestly, we're one of the lucky ones when it came to the first stage, which is the I-130 form that you have to fill out. We got really lucky because there was an exemption for Afghan immigrants.
This was her reality for the better part of 2 years until she decided it was time to reunite with him in Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. According to her, the husband couldn't move to the United States because of visa issues, which is actually quite obvious. I mean, it's no news that diplomatic relationships between the United States and Afghanistan have been pretty much non-existent since the Taliban took over of 2021, and visas are now very limited for individuals looking to make it into the United States from that part of the world. Hell, even the United States has advised its citizens to stay away from the country altogether. But apparently the little Miss Lover girl here knows better, and her perfect solution? Move miles away from your comfort and settle right in the midst of an ultra-conservative militant group with absolute power. And that's not even an exaggeration because that's the reality in that country right now. Yeah, that's so real. That's why you'd often see comments like this one under her posts urging her to enjoy her freedom now while she still can because it'll soon be taken away, and this one that depicts what's about to be her new reality. But Sunny, well, she doesn't seem to be taking all these warnings to heart because despite it all, she's gone ahead and to schedule a date for her relocation. According to her, she'll be moving to Kabul in August, which is already here, and that just shows how resolute and borderline desperate she is to uphold her decision. It's also recently been alleged that her mom is strongly behind the proposed move and even made a post on Facebook to clarify her stance on the matter. In the post, she affirms that after much consideration, she's decided to move to Afghanistan for a while and they are planning to move to Jordan together, where she was raised for the first 5 years of her life. She, like myself, is a dual citizen. We both hold our natural United States citizenship and our Jordanian citizenship. They eventually would like to move back here, but because we are uneducated, we believe everyone born here are terrorists. But what exactly is Alex Sunny willing to give up for this move, and why are people calling it out as a terrible idea? Well, for the most part, the many viewers reaching out and trying to sway her decision via the comments are actually just concerned about her and her safety. But it's almost obvious that Sunny doesn't know just what she's walking into.
Afghan women have officially lost all rights. Under Sharia law, women are prohibited from speaking, singing, or otherwise being heard in public spaces. Women are prohibited from entering public parks, gyms, beauty salons, sports clubs, national parks, amusement parks, or any recreational spaces. Women cannot hold positions in government and are banned from having jobs. They may no longer get an education past the 6th grade. There is no longer a fixed minimum marriage age for girls. Eligibility is linked to puberty, which can be as young as 9 years old.
First of all, Afghanistan isn't just another tourist destination for curious travelers. Nope. It's actually one of the most dangerous places in the world to be in as an American. I mean, if we're being honest, several places in the Middle East are not the most ideal for foreign travelers, but Afghanistan has been specifically ranked #1 on the list of most dangerous places to go for a U.S. citizen. Apparently, the U.S. has ended all formal diplomatic relations with the country since 2021 when the Taliban took over, and it had even dissolved the U.S. embassy there, pulling out all ambassadors and citizens. As a matter of fact, here's a famous photo of the last plane that evacuated U.S. citizens from Afghanistan back then, and you can see how packed it was. Yeah, that's how scared for their safety everyone was and how desperate they were to escape. Now, that's the same country that Sunny's willingly moving to. The irony, right? Now, let's assume for a minute that she doesn't know about the broken relationship between the United States and Afghanistan. What about the gender persecution that's been well documented in recent times?
This is an appeal to any Muslim women that might be able to help me. My name is Yana, I'm 24 and I'm a revert, and I'm being trapped in my Islamic marriage by my husband. He is refusing to give me talaq. I've gone to the Islamic councils and they have refused to give me a fast. Even though he has not supported me for 9 months, he's not provided for me financially whatsoever. We live in different states. He has not provided me a house, clothes, or food, and I am about to give up. I have nothing left to try.
At this point, she really can't say she isn't aware of the severe restrictions on human rights being enforced on women in these parts. This is a place where women and girls are not allowed to get any form of formal or secondary education because it, quote and unquote, corrupts their minds. Women are also not allowed to dress freely, hence the face covering being highlighted by those pictures in the comments. As a truck driver and social media influencer, Sunny should also know that women aren't allowed to do either of those jobs in Afghanistan. In fact, there's a systematic ban against employment in general for those women, so she'd be more or less be completely at the mercy of her husband when she gets there. But if you think that's bad, well, it gets worse. You see, very little concern and regard is given to the safety of women here, and get this, husbands are actually allowed to beat their wives without any repercussions as long as it doesn't lead to an open wound. They call it physical punishment over there, and as long as it doesn't break your bones, disfigure you, or leave you bleeding out, then you're fine. I mean, there's absolutely no forgetting the famous case where a woman filed for divorce due to domestic abuse, and the judge just dismissed the case saying a few beatings won't kill you. Now, it really doesn't require more than this to realize that this place is no place for a woman, especially one that already knows what it feels like to live in a free country. But Sunny, she's still being delusional and even saying she'll keep us updated with regular content once she gets there.
Obviously, though, every relationship is different, every man is different. This is just my personal experience, and taking a chance on somebody that I would have never thought I would actually fall in love with was the best decision I ever made.
But guess who's already been forced to relinquish her account even before leaving? Well, yeah, or at least that's what's being speculated, but more on that in a bit. In the meantime, let's talk about another scary reality for Sunny. It's the fact that she may never be able to return to the US again. Yeah, you heard that right. See, influencers and commentators have since been weighing in on the matter, and one thing that keeps coming up is the fact that once she gets into Afghanistan, they may never let her leave again.
I don't understand why she doesn't just move to Pakistan with her husband. Like, clearly her husband can live in Pakistan and she can also live in Pakistan. And that's why I genuinely believe that her husband has a secret wife in Afghanistan.
And it's not even hard to see why. After all, we're talking about a country that almost prides itself in the total control and subdual of women. Tell you what, if she gets there and it doesn't turn out to be what she dreams of, she won't be able to leave because the Taliban laws do not take lightly to wives running away from their husband's house. It's even getting worse because according to a report published by Amnesty International, they've imposed new rules that targets women and minorities, but mainly women. The Post cited that the new criminal regulation recently endorsed by the Taliban leader will further entrench violence and discrimination against women. How are they promoting violence against women? Well, this section reads, the Criminal Procedure Regulation of the Courts, which lays out punishments and sentencing for a range of vague and overly broad offenses, criminalizes domestic violence only in cases where a woman has suffered a broken bone or visible injuries. The decree also prescribes a 3-month prison sentence for any woman who regularly visits family members without her husband's permission and who refuses a court order to return home. Now, make of that what you will, but it doesn't look good whichever way you choose to look at it. Oh, and it also goes without saying that she won't be getting much help from her home either because there isn't even a US embassy there to begin with, so she'll pretty much be on her own against a system that's designed to enslave her. Now, the real question is she really ignorant to all these rules and happenings? Because she can't possibly be aware and still be this eager to throw herself in harm's way, right? Well, you see, that's where it gets a little confusing because the indicators are pointing towards the fact that she is, in fact, aware. First of all, she really can't be dumb enough to agree to move to somewhere as notorious as this without doing a little background check, right? Besides, even the most basic research on Afghanistan would have revealed a lot to her, but even if it didn't, which is almost impossible, the comments she's been getting on her posts have got to do with it because everyone keeps calling out the folly in her decision. Everyone apart from this guy, apparently, and that's raising a few eyebrows. People are questioning the fact that he'd allow someone he loves to walk right into this trap, and rightly so, too. This comment reads, if he really loved her, he wouldn't let her go to Afghanistan, jeopardizing her safety and putting her life at risk. And that's got to get you thinking. I mean, there has to be someone encouraging her to go for it amidst all the warnings she's getting, and who's more capable than someone she yaps with for 15 hours every day? He probably spends the better part of their conversations convincing her that Afghanistan isn't really as bad as others are making it out to be. And because she trusts him, She just takes it all in, probably without even asking enough questions. Also, for some reason, this is where her poor critical thinking, or the complete lack of it, comes to play, because what could they possibly tell you to make you believe a terrorist-tiddled country is the perfect place to settle? No way this is what true love looks like, and here's someone calling out the entire idea that this is inspired by love. It reads, "This is just so sad and surreal to me. I get it, love can do a lot of things, but this isn't love. What type of man wants his partner to move to a country where women are exposed to such things on a daily basis?" For some others, it's really just become a really good story to follow, and everyone's literally having their fingers crossed to see how it all unfolds. This comment specifically reads, "She just restricted her comments. I guess we'll see if she actually moves. August 3rd, not gonna lie, we are all about to be part of a documentary." But even that's gotta be a tad difficult, because apparently she's either deleted her account or it's been taken away from her, and people are saying her husband's got something to do with it.
So the woman who is moving to Afghanistan to be with her husband has now deleted all of her videos and locked her profile down with just a story. Now, she says in the story she's going to leave it up for 24 hours.
So while we were all waiting to see which direction the story takes, the huge headline developing is that her TikTok account has somehow disappeared.
I think we're all up to speed on the girl that was supposedly moving to Afghanistan for her husband. Well, now her account is totally gone.
It initially started with her restricting the comments on her videos and saying she's got enough of the negativity flooding her comment section. Then she eventually deleted her videos and announced she won't be posting anymore. But she'd then reappear after a little while with another important update on her story. This time she posted a new TikTok account called Weiss and Alex, a joint account created for her and her husband because Weiss is his name apparently. So what this means is that she's actually moving forward with her plan and is already losing control of her accounts before even moving. I mean, when she initially stopped posting on her main account, a lot of people speculated that she'll be back and was probably just taking some time off like she hinted. But coming back with a joint account shows her husband is slowly taking control. Granted, there are still only a few uploads on the account now, but the fact that they are all from Weiss's POV means he's currently the handler, and little by little he's taking over. But somehow that's not even the major controversy regarding this dude. Of course, much of these are not founded yet, but there's a wild speculation that he's already married with kids in Afghanistan and probably has our girl Sunny as his second wife. Now, that's wild, but hold on because it gets worse. There's also new rumors circulating that suggest, get this, that he's also talking to other women and convincing them to move to Afghanistan. Here's another girl in the comments saying the husband Weiss is her boyfriend and has been for a while now.
This is some real embarrassing shit, and I need to deal with it, and I will deal with it. I just cannot believe this has happened.
Now, like I said, a lot of these are not confirmed yet, may just be more speculations right now, but would you really put it past a man that's appeared sneaky all along? Yeah, thought as much. Now, if that's true, then there's definitely an agenda to bring more foreign women, more American women over to Afghanistan for whatever reason, and that doesn't sound good. For all we know, Sunny might be walking herself into a trap without even knowing it. Not that the signs hadn't been there all along, but what she thinks is true love may just be a deliberate scheme waiting to unfold, and sadly, it's one without a happily ever after.
So at this point, it has been 2 years that we have been long distance. Well, not a full 2 years, but almost 2 years. And I am so ready to be with him, whether it's here in the US, whether it's in Afghanistan.
The big question now, however, is whether Sunny's really making a big mistake. And for that, your answer is definitely as good as mine, but what's even more worrying at this point is that she's now trying to influence other young girls to be like her.
And also, and this is just my opinion, I think more women in the US should get out of the box and date more men outside the US, marry more men outside the US, whatever you want to do.
In her words, more American women need to get out of their box and move to other countries to find love, and dangerous countries too, if we're going by her example. So in essence, she wants more people making bad decisions like her, because how do you recommend something you're just looking to try yourself and are yet to even see a result? Well, that's Sunny for you, and of course this entire saga has brought her a level of fame that most creators only dream of. Millions of views, endless headlines, and thousands of people following every update. But you have to wonder, what's all that attention really worth if she's giving up her freedom and probably won't even be around to enjoy it? So, is Sunny making a huge mistake? Maybe, maybe not. At the end of the day, only she truly knows what her relationship is like behind closed doors. We on social media only know the carefully selected moments were shown, and it's impossible for anyone outside that marriage to say with certainty how it will turn out. What people can judge, however, is the environment she's choosing to move to, and Afghanistan is definitely not a good choice. Of course, love can make people take enormous risks, but those risks don't disappear just because the intentions are genuine. Now we all just have to watch and see how it all plays out while wishing her the best of luck because she's sure gonna need it.